Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, we're going to start over here in RT, and you see a bright ball crossing the sky. So, they're saying it's a falling meteor. What do you guys think? There's been a lot of these sightings. This one's bright and very pretty, kind of a teal color, I guess, greenish. And so, this one is in Siberia. There's been a lot. Now, right here, this one's curious. This is another view of it. And you never know which links are going to give you issues with copyright claims, so I'm going to be careful of playing this one. But what's interesting is you see the meteor here. There's something that pops out over in the front. See if you guys notice it. Kind of curious, but you can see the meteor there. Boom, get really bright. Very interesting when we see ships that are definitely ships in the sky over in our area. They tend to do that. They get bright in one certain spot and then disappear. And then another one will come a few minutes later. As soon as the other one's out of sight, then another one will come. It's very interesting. Here, another video. You guys could check it out. So another fireball, and there's one over here in the southeast U.S. as well, all the way from Charlotte down to the middle of Florida. Really a brilliant fireball, lights up the midnight sky. So what's up? Is there things in our area? Is this typical? I don't know. It seems like we're seeing a lot, and they look very similar. Here's one caught on a security camera. This is another view of the same one. And you can see the area that it was seen in. Very, very large area. Now, this is out of Suspect Sky. And we'll give it a little subscribe, click, thumbs up. You got to check this craft out. It's pretty cool. It looks like it's a huge craft because you see these lights. And then you see there's a flashing light way up here. This is out of Hartford, Connecticut. And I'll have the link for you guys. Interesting. You know, Space Force, the secret space program, very well could be. Maybe it's something else as well. Severe flooding affects at least 150,000 across Yemen. And of course, we have 5 to 10 million people in this area that are facing famine because of the war that's been ongoing for a long time now. And there's quite a bit of quake activity. We have a 5.0 that's shallow in China, and it kills 4 and injures 23 as we see the location. And there's videos here for you guys to see as well. People going scrambling. So, you know, a 5 point something can cause damage depending on where it hits and how shallow. And we have another shallow, this time a 4.9, and this is in Sweden. And it's the country's biggest mine-related quake ever. You know, and our practices, obviously with fracking and everything else that's been going on, they obviously add to the issues. Now, eastern Cuba is hit by a tornado and also anomalous seismic activity. It feels like we are shifting gears again, and I think we're going to see some unusual volcanic activity coming around. We've been waiting for that change, and it's starting to manifest, and maybe it did manifest in Nevada. With you were looking at last night, the air quality, it sure seems like it might have been a volcano waking up over there. And we see an eastern portion of Cuba was hit by a tornado and more than 20 quakes on Sunday afternoon and evening. No fatalities reported, extensive damage. There's photos here. As we can see the damage. That roof's going to need some repair. So you know Puerto Rico was rocking for quite a while. And, you know, we're still seeing activity in quite a few different places. We could zoom in and look at Nevada. And so, you know, we're looking at Nevada right here, 241 quakes out of 466 reported across the globe. So still a lot of activity going on in the same area. And then, of course, we had the hazardous air quality over here as well. It happens to be a supervolcano over there, so it has a volcanic field, as we know. Now, if we go up north, we see we still have quakes happening in Idaho. You see there's 20 in this area right here. As
the 9 News drone provides a captivating
they
view
like
of
to
the
keep
half-mile-long
turning
Colorado.
this on here. They keep doing that. So we might as well talk about this. Talking about volcanoes and quakes and stuff. Did you know there's an active volcano in Colorado? There is. Of course, the last time it erupted was about 4,000 years ago, so hopefully it won't go. If it did go, it could affect I-70, though. And so this is the Dotsero volcano. It's in western Eagle County, and it is Colorado's only active volcano. And now we'll jump back over here, since I guess the powers that be wanted us to talk about that. And you see, Salt Lake City still has some quakes. We got 9 of them over there. And Oklahoma, still active. And as we see, we got quite a bit of activity, heading on off. We had that 5.5. Now we have 4.4, 260 kilometers west of Ferndale. We have a 2.6, and we have a 4.2. And then we see some others over here, 2.6, 22 kilometers east of Petrolia, and 2.7, 3 kilometers east-northeast of Redway. And we have our brother Calvin over in the Eureka area. Hey, Calvin, hope you're doing well. And let's see, if we go over here, we have increased strombolian activity, high values of volcanic tremor at Etna. And Etna and Pele were what Casey said to look for. They're both going off at the same time. Then it's time to look to Japan and California. And we see Hayabusa 2 reveals some secrets about the dynamic history of asteroid Ryugu. So Japan's spacecraft Hayabusa 2 has reported some new observations revealing more secrets about its remarkable history, particularly signs of a close encounter with the sun. So this was launched in December 2014, and it reached Ryugu in 2018. In February and July 2019, it briefly touched down on the surface. The readings it took provided researchers with insights into the physical and chemical properties of the asteroid. And so they took imaging instruments to look at the dusty matter kicked up by the spacecraft's engines during touchdowns. And they discovered large amounts of fine grains of dark red-colored minerals. These were produced by solar heating, suggesting at some point it must have passed very close to the sun. Pretty amazing, and I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe we've ever gotten out of the atmosphere as well. And there are still some that believe that the Earth is flat, and we'll always get comments on that as well. So, as we had heard, our hurricanes really are getting stronger, just like the climate models predicted. And the authors of a new paper studied 4,000 tropical cyclones spanning 39 years. And as the world gets warmer, according to their research, the hurricanes are going to get stronger. And then, of course, now we are heading into a grand solar minimum. The weather is crazy changeable. Crazy changeable. Extremes, to be sure. As, today, it's in the 60s, barely in the 60s. And then we'll be going back to 105. What can you say? And the winds are so crazy. So they are calling this CV-19 Hill, as you're going to see here. So oddly shaped hailstones, are they a message from God to stay at home? And this is in Mexico. So some people are saying these things are shaped like you know what, and it's a message from God. Perhaps not. So 20 trees. Every prepper should know. As we've talked about, building our stock of knowledge. And in these times, who knows when we're going to lose the grid. More and more people are saying there's a big event coming in November. Are you guys hearing that? I mean, I'm hearing that buzz from like almost everybody we talk to. People are saying something's coming in November, perhaps the 3 days of darkness that's been talked about. Well, anyway, we should make sure we're as prepared as possible and look to nature for some remedies. And so alder, the bark and the leaves from this tree are used to create a wound wash and can be consumed as a tea to treat fever, hemorrhoids, and tonsillitis. How about apple? Of course you could eat apples, but it has more to do than that. The bark from the tree can also treat diarrhea and fever. Ash. The leaves and tips of the twigs from this tree can be consumed to treat gout, rheumatism, and jaundice. Beech. Remember, we used to have some beech trees in the front yard growing up. Tea created from the bark of this tree has been used to treat tuberculosis and may serve as a successful blood cleanser as well. And we have birch. Birch tree can be tapped for its syrup. Does not produce as much syrup as a maple tree, but the fluid has a delicious butterscotch taste, and the leaves are rich in vitamin C and can be consumed after being picked or used in natural medicine recipes as well. Cedar, a tea brewed from the bark of this tree, can help alleviate the symptoms of the common cold, fever, flu, and rheumatism. Elder, tea created from the bark of this tree, can help congestion, break a fever even. And we have elm. Boy, that's a beautiful row of trees there. Both salve and poultices created from elm bark can be used to treat childbirth pain and gunshot wounds. Wow. Hawthorn, a tea commonly referred to as a cardiac tonic, is brewed from the hawthorn tree leaves. It's believed to provoke a decrease in blood pressure and therefore helps promote good cardiac health. Hazel. Nuts from this tree can be consumed and may aid in the treatment of kidney problems. Interior bark is used to make poultices or to treat stomach ulcers as well. Linden. The linden tree, which is commonly referred to as a basswood, has edible leaves and flowers. Spring leaves can be eaten raw or cooked. Flower blossoms from the tree can be brewed into a rather delicious tea. And then we have maple. And a leaf wound wash or poultice is used to relieve sore eyes and soreness of the breast for nursing mothers and pregnant women. Bark tea is used to treat kidney infections, the common cold, and bronchitis. Maple seeds can be boiled or cooked. Smaller seeds are sweet, but larger ones often have a bitter flavor. Remove the outer skin of the seed and then boil till they become soft, approximately 15 minutes, and you could add spices. Mountain holly. Spring buds and twigs from the mountain holly were once used by Native Americans to treat fever, diarrhea, stomach ulcers, and jaundice. And it's coming on again.
The 9 News drone provides a captivating view of...
Don't you love how they just love to keep doing that? At certain intervals. How about mulberries? Always love mulberries. The spring twigs from this tree are fairly sweet and can be either eaten raw or boiled. Oak acorns can be ground into a fine mash to be used in place of flour or cornmeal. Pine, the interior bark of pine trees and the sap contains high percentages of both vitamin A and C. Poplar, the interior bark can be eaten raw or cooked and has a sweet yet starch-like taste. How about sassafras? The young roots can be brewed into a delicious tea. The spring twigs can be chewed on to clean teeth and promote gum health. Slippery elm. The interior bark from this slippery elm tree is sticky, yet boasts a pleasant taste. The inner bark can be eaten either raw or boiled. When the sticky bark is mixed with a fair amount of water, it forms a thin paste that soothes wounds and rashes. And willow. The interior bark can be cut into strips and used like pasta, once cooked or eaten raw. Leaves of the willow tree are really bitter, but they may be safely eaten in an emergency situation. So, good knowledge to have. And guys, I want to thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and also on Patreon. You keep us going in these times. As always, be prepared out there. God bless and namaste.